back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Oh my lord, full time family. So many things to say about this fight, so fuck it. Let's get started because we all know we got 3 more big fights tonight. Mike Perry versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. We still got Robbie Lawler versus Rafael Dos Anjos. This was the first fight of the main card. Glover Teixeira versus Misha Cirkunov. Both of these guys are top 10 ranked light heavyweights currently, but I got to it. Okay, first of all, Glover Teixeira won via TKO in the first round, and when it happened, I was just completely like, what the fuck just happened? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like an injury. It looked like Misha Cirkunov, and I use this word lightly. I don't mean like quit or gave up like that. I'm just saying it's like he didn't try and defend the position he was in just from watching. That's what it looked like. And it was just like, you know, maybe he realized, you know, Glover had his back. Glover had his legs hooked in, and he was just like, hey, I don't know. It was so fucking weird. That's what I'm trying to say. I didn't expect the fight to really end right there, but Misha Cirkunov, the ref was like, hey, defend or I'm gonna stop the fight, defend or I'm gonna stop the fight, and going to the ground position they were in, it wasn't like Misha Cirkunov was wobbled or hurt, and I don't know, it was just weird. So I guess let's get into everything, because after the fight, Glover Teixeira said, Daniel Cormier told me if I get a win in spectacular fashion, he's gonna get me a title shot. That's a whole nother fucking weird turn to this, because I'm like, yo, Daniel Cormier, you got a fight coming up versus a knockout artist, Volkan Ozdemir, at UFC 220 for 1. For 2, a lot of people were like expected Alexander Gustafsson to get that title shot, if not the next one. So how does Alexander Gustafsson, you know, does Glover now jump past Alexander? Daniel Cormier said, yo, I'm not the one to say no, but I'm also not the matchmaker. I'll either make Alexander Gustafsson run in the octagon again, or I'll make Glover run. That's what he said after Glover Teixeira called him out on the mic. But yeah, about the fucking fight, Misha Cirkunov was winning the striking battle for sure, and he was landing more significant strikes, and even the commentator said, you know, Glover Teixeira might need to change his strategy up. He's not going to be able to fight at Misha Cirkunov's range, because Misha Cirkunov was the longer fighter, and he was landing some significant strikes. Glover Teixeira ended up getting a takedown off of a trip. It was kind of like a trip. They didn't have much. They clinched up. Wasn't much clinch work, if I'm remembering correctly. It was just like a quick clinch and then trip. Got him to the floor. He had it. Glover Teixeira, if I remember correctly, I'm telling you, this shit threw me off. I was not expecting this. Everything kind of just threw my brain off a little bit. So excuse my fucking recall of this fight. The ending, the call out, Daniel Cormier's response, like everything just kind of fucking threw me off. So with that being said, that's why I'm fucking stumbling a little bit here. But Misha Cirkunov, was taken down by Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira ended up taking his back. That's what happened. Misha Cirkunov, Glover Teixeira had his back, and he almost had in a rear naked choke. Glover Teixeira did. He didn't quite have it under the chin. It was on his chin, but after that, it looked like Glover Teixeira was going to try and turn into his guard, Glover Teixeira's guard. But what happened is he ended up just further giving up his back, and Glover Teixeira ended up on top of him. Like he had his back mounted, and from that position, it was like Misha Cirkunov either didn't know how to defend or didn't. I'm gonna say maybe he just didn't know how to get out of that position, and he was like, yo, I'm not going to keep taking punches to the side of the head and the back of the head for 2 minutes until I go out. But he also didn't tap to strikes, because he didn't take many strikes before the ref stopped it, because he just didn't defend. It was like, yo, if you're not going to do anything to get out of this position, I'm going to stop the fight. But it was like he was hurt going into that position, so it just threw me off a little bit. But then afterward, as I said, Glover Teixeira said, yo, Daniel Cormier, you said if I win this fight in spectacular fashion, you're going to get me a title shot. And I was like, he's going to get you a title shot. Yo, Daniel Cormier just got knocked out by fucking John Jones, and he's fighting a knockout artist. Why? For one, I don't want to see him looking past Volkan Ozdemir. He's talking about, I'll make Alexander run again, and or Glover. Daniel Cormier is low-key feeling like the king of the light heavyweight division. Hey, he's a little comfortable coming off of that John Jones, loss. I mean, little interesting, but I mean, we all know it was overturned. John Jones tested positive for steroids, but Daniel Cormier did still take that damage. He still does have a title fight scheduled for January 20th, UFC 220 in Boston versus Volkan Ozdemir. On that card, we got Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. Everyone's going to be watching that card. Anybody that I've told about that card so far is like, yo, when is that fight? And that's casual and hardcore. Everybody cannot wait to see the light heavyweight and heavyweight champion defending their belts on the same card. With that being said, Glover Teixeira, talk about him just for a quick second. He was the underdog coming into this fight, the number 3 ranked light heavyweight fighting the number 7th ranked light heavyweight, and he was an underdog. But it's probably, you know, part of the reason is because Glover Teixeira, although a very entertaining, exciting fighter, and he does say, I'm not coming in here just to win. I'm coming in here to finish these guys and put on entertaining fights. But Glover Teixeira is toward the end of his career, at least in the last 5 to 10 years of his career, as he's 38 years old. And, you know, he's a legend of the sport. He's fought for the title before one time, I believe. He's fought legends of the sport. Glover Teixeira is that dude, but he was just fighting an up-and-coming light heavyweight killer in Misha Cirkunov, who came into the UFC on a 4-fight winning streak. Now, Misha Cirkunov in his last fight was knocked out by Volkan Ozdemir, but Glover Teixeira, I believe, also was, yeah, they were, Glover Teixeira and Misha Cirkunov were knocked out same card. Alexander Gustafsson fought Glover Teixeira, and Volkan Ozdemir fought Misha Cirkunov. They were on the same card. They both lost via TKO or knockout on that card. Now they were put together in this fight, opening card of the main card. Man, the fucking fights are on. I gotta get back to the fights. What the fuck am I sitting here doing, talking about this shit like there ain't fights on? It is what it is. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you tell me in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOWG.